Hey y'all. So, have you ever had sweetened dried pineapple? My mom brought it over and she puts like a crap ton of salt on hers, and I tasted one and instantly fell in love. This is such a good snack. Like, I'm sure I don't put as much salt as she does because she's like a salt fanatic. But I do put a little bit of salt, and I wonder, like, okay, I know that obviously these are good for you, and salt is probably taking away the good part. But y'all, it is so good. And it's still gotta be better than like regular candy, right? Anyway, if you haven't tried it, do it. Pineapple, dried pineapple with a little bit of salt. Get some sea salt if you want to be fancy. Also, look how dark my hair is. Have you ever made a mistake and you're like super stoked about it? Yeah. I picked the wrong color dye, and it turned out way darker than I thought it would. I mean, it said dark brown, but the other brand of dark brown I usually get is like 4 shades lighter than this. But then I did it and I'm like, oh, hello, Wednesday Addams vibes. Okay. I know it's more of like a fall thing and it's February, but I'm 35. I'll do what I want. Okay. So I'm gonna keep eating pineapples. Is that rude? I don't know. They're just so good. It's a mukbang, y'all. I'm watching scary videos in the background. Can you hear it? So I was thinking, for New Year's, I had went over to an old friend's house. I thought we weren't friends anymore, but I guess we are, like maybe water under the bridge kind of thing. And I used to live, she like owns little properties, like trailers, and we fell in really hard times, and they took us in and let us rent out one of their trailers when we didn't even have like a paycheck stub to show. And anyway, super nice of them. But this trailer, y'all, humble beginnings. I mean, I'm not in no mansion now, but this place was like this big. I only had one child, and he was 2, so it was me, my husband, and our 2-year-old, but it was 1 bedroom, 1 bath, and I mean, I'm talking about, like, there it is, there's a whole house. That's it. So anyway, we lived there, and unfortunately, living in those kind of areas, you're gonna have some probably not the best people living around you. It is what it is, you know. I mean, not the best people live everywhere, but we had quite the stories around there. And yeah, I remember like talking to her about one of the neighbors we used to have and like whatever happened to them, because I heard they died. It was a boyfriend, girlfriend, baby daddy, baby mama situation and their children. And, you know, then I found out they didn't die, but maybe got some prison time, and another one is working the streets. Super sad they lost the kids. I mean, not dead, but you know what I'm saying. Anyway, it brought me to this story. One of the craziest things that's ever happened to me. And y'all know, look at my channel. Crazy stuff follows me. It happens to me all the time. I go to church 3 times a week, and crazy still follows me. It does not matter. So, I remember one night, I was in that little teeny tiny, remember, it's like this big. It's like one of those triple Legos. Yeah, that was the whole house. Okay. And I had just put our son down. He was falling asleep on my chest. I usually work nights because I had to take a job while my husband was injured, because that's what you do. And I worked at an escape room. I got some stories there. And I just happened to be off that night. So, of course, I wanted to snuggle my baby as much as possible because I never got to be with him at night. And I'm laying on our recliner, holding him on my chest. I could reach the front door pretty much where I'm sitting. Literally anywhere in the house, I could reach the front door again. So, I remember it's like 11:30, maybe midnight. We have, in between the trailers, they always set this bonfire. First of all, that sounds so freaking dangerous. These are trailers. Trailers, isn't it like a thing where they like burn within 7 minutes? This is all hitting me. Anyway, people would put on bonfires when it was freezing cold in the winter. And it was like in between them, right? So there's a trailer here, across this little creek is a trailer, and then there's a trailer behind ours, and then like right in the middle on one side of the creek is where we put this bonfire. And it wasn't a very big one, but people would sit out there, hang out, smoke, whatever. And so I'm sitting there, and again, it's like 11:30 or so. But again, there's a bonfire in the middle, and I'll get back to that. So I hear a little on my front door, y'all. But I still left my body because I'm like in the hood, okay? I'm actually still in the hood, but like I feel a little bit safer because my house is like made out of concrete, you know? This was not. I didn't even have insulation to protect me. And I was like, oh Lord, and I'm holding my little baby. My husband is home, thank God, right? He's sleeping in the back bedroom. It's like 3 feet away. And no hate to anybody that lives in a tiny trailer. There is nothing wrong with that. I'm so thankful I had that home. Are you kidding me? I actually like to show my kids now, hey, look where we lived and we made it work. And guess what? My son was happy every single day we lived there because it's not the house that makes a home, okay? It's how you live in it. It's how you treat it. It's if it looks like a dump, if it's clean, if your baby's happy and he's fed. He does not, at 2 years old, you think he's like, oh, I cannot believe you have me living here. No, he just wanted us. So no judgment to people that live in something like that. It just definitely wasn't enough room for us after a while. So, yeah, so I hear the little on the doorknob, and I'm like scared as heck. So I just kind of hold my son, and I'm just like, you know how like in those scary moments when you hear something, so you just stare at whatever that noise came from, you just stare. Like if you stare hard enough, all of your fear is gonna go away, and everything's gonna be all right. Why do we do that? I don't know. So I'm staring at it, and it felt like 5 minutes, but it was probably 30 seconds, and I heard it again, and I was like, okay, somebody's definitely trying to break in. So I start to kind of sit up, and before you know it, the door comes all the way open. And these are, again, little trailer doors, so it's like this thin little metal-y door with a little flap. It's, I don't know. Y'all trailer park people know what I'm talking about. Y'all know what I'm talking about. One of them old 70s trailers, y'all know what I'm saying. So it comes open, and I don't see anybody. For a split second, I see nobody, and now I'm like, what in the... I look down, there's a baby. A baby. I want to say 2 years old. Maybe. No pants. Just a short sleeve shirt. It's like 15 degrees outside. Maybe not 15. Okay, it's Florida, so it was like 25 degrees outside. Which, if you're from Florida, that's really cold, and you're not having pants. I'm grown and I can't go out there with no pants on. Our bodies are accustomed to warm, you know. And then I realized it's the people behind me's kid is at my door, and he just looks up at me and he's like, mommy, where mommy? And I'm just holding my baby, and I'm like, oh, it's okay, sweetie, just come with me. So I bring him in the house, shut the door, lock all the latches, because it hits me. There's a bonfire outside of our house, in between our house and his house. So he had to cross around that bonfire somehow at 2 years old. And I'm guessing, but I don't care if it's 3 or 4, honey. Your baby shouldn't be a fire like that. First of all, why would we be having fires by these trailers? I still get them. What? Why did I not think about that? Oh, the redneckery of it all. Anyways, so I rushed my son back to my husband, and I'm like, listen, take the baby. You're not going to believe this, but such and such's baby is at our front door. It's midnight. He's like knocked out. He's like, I'm sorry, come again? And I'm like, yes, and there's a fire out there. I was like, I'm going to go bring him back, I guess. Like, what am I supposed to do? In that moment, now I think to myself, should I have called 911? I don't really know. It was like 8 feet away. All I knew was like, you know, maybe it's some kind of freak accident, okay? There is no perfect parent. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've all done things where we're like, ooh, I probably should have made that a little bit more baby safe. Or you fell off the bed or whatever, and you're just like a wreck for 3 days. I'm sorry, did I just tell a personal story? Anyways, so, you know, I didn't want to pass too much judgment right away. And so I give my son to my husband. This is way before we were married. I take their baby, and I like throw a blanket around him, grasp him nice and tight, because I'm thinking if that's my kid, it's not going to take very long for me to not realize he's there. I don't know. At that age, he was sleeping with us anyway. Yeah, we co-sleeped. We didn't have an option. Also, I loved it. But I would feel him. Plus, I had every latch locked. He wasn't getting out of that little tin box. But I was just like, oh my God, they could be freaking out, right? So I rush him back over there, and I'm just walking by that fire it's not huge because everybody had went inside, but it's still very much a fire. It's still very hot. Holding this precious baby, and he recognizes me. I mean, I'm not close to them and didn't trust them as far as I could throw them, but he knew I was their neighbor. He had played with my baby before a couple times, right? Not all the time, but a couple times. So I don't know, maybe he saw our front porch light. It's the only thing I could think of. And he recognized it and was like, let me go up there. I mean, it doesn't take some babies long to get lost, right? So, and it's pitch black. They didn't have lights on. I still can't understand how he wandered out of his front door and got lost right away, but he did. Maybe he finally got by that fire and then got all turned around. You could think about this forever. You're not going to think like a 2-year-old. Some people do work on that. But yeah, so I'll never understand why. But all I know is I took him back to their house. The front door is wide open. And I'm like, okay, I know they do drugs. And so, of course, my brain is thinking every possible wrong thing because I'm screaming their names. Nobody hears me. I rewind. I called their name softly to begin with because their other baby was sleeping on the couch unattended. Just bloop, in a little diaper, just front door wide open. My helicopter mom brain is like, you know. Oh gosh, anybody could have just grabbed those babies. I'm so glad he came to my house. God is so good like that. God got him to my front door. So then I start screaming their name. I'm like, well, let's call them. It's so messed up because I already think of ratchet names when I think about them. I'm not trying. No, we're not going to say that because now I said ratchet. Y'all won't think I'm saying your name's ratchet. Their mother and father. I call out and I'm like screaming their name and I'm like, okay, like this is too much. Now the little girl's tossing and turning and I'm like, what is going on? So I didn't even bring my phone and I'm about to like grab the little girl, get up out of here and call 911 because if something is going bad back there in the back, their trailer was a little bit bigger. Not by much, but, you know, still a long, skinny one. But they were way back there, you know. Don't leave your babies right by the front door when you're way in the back of a trailer. What the heck? But I was just like, I don't want anything to really bad be happening. This little girl does wake up. A, leaves the front door again, or B, or she leaves the front door by herself, or B, sees her parents in a bad way, you know. So I'm like, I'm about to scoop these babies up and take them back to my, you know what I'm saying? And call 911. I don't know what to do. As I'm walking up to the little girl to grab her, here comes mom. Almost butt booty naked, which, you know, whatever. Some people sleep pretty close to naked. But she seemed very, like awake, which was weird. Not like the whole situation wasn't weird. Yeah, and she was just like, hey, what are you doing in my house? Love that. Love that in that moment. I was just like, what'd you just say to me, heifer? And I'm holding her little son, and she's like, what are you doing in my house? And I was like, oh, just returning your child that just went over, you know, a whole journey past, what probably looked like a volcano to him, to my house, because he must have saw my porch light on. Don't worry, he's fine. I'm bringing him back over. By the way, your front door is wide open and your baby girl, who's probably 3 years old, half naked, is right here too, with the door wide open. And we have one of those neighborhoods where people are walking up and down all day long. It connects to a major mall, so there's always all walks of life walking up and down the street. I'm talking about 2 o'clock in the morning, and those are not the people that you want noticing that your front door is wide open with your baby girl sitting right there. Okay, I digress. So after she kind of chops at me and I told her what was going on, then her face just gets really white. You know, I can't show you because, like, I look like Wednesday Addams right now. But, like, imagine if I was really tan and then it just... Whoosh, and she's like, oh, my God, I'm so sorry, oh, my God. Little Timmy, da-da-da-da-da, and, like, grabs him. And she's like, oh, thank you so much, thank you. Okay, bye, thank you. And, like, I hear the husband yelling, baby daddy yelling from the back of the box, and he's just like, it's all good out here. And she's like, yeah, little Timmy done got out the front door and went over to her house, and he's all good though. And all that just came flooding back to me on New Year's when I was at the owner of these multiple properties home. She had the biggest trailer. And I was like, that was so crazy. That was such a crazy moment. I mean, everything that rushed through my mind of what could have happened, y'all. Like, needless to say, when I got the update about them and heard that they don't even have their kids anymore, I don't know if I felt bad about that. I didn't. She didn't even seem that concerned. She seemed more annoyed, A, that I was in her house, and B, that little Timmy done got out again because they don't want to spend $5 on an extra latch on their front door. I don't know. Just crazy things. So, add a small child shows up at my front door at almost midnight to my list. Also, do you guys love this shirt? My husband got this for me for Christmas. I kind of dig that 90s styles are coming back because that's when I grew up. It's my era. Love that they think they're creating something. Okay. Anyways, just my story time for today that came back to me. And get you some dry pineapples. I'm telling you, y'all, they're so good. They're so good. I should have known I liked them because I get trail. I'm so gross. Trail mixes, and those are always my favorite part is the dried fruits. So that's pretty much what it is, just on steroids or really big pieces. How is my baby still sleeping to my loud talking? Anyway, like and subscribe. And tell me about your crazy neighbors. Oh my God, I could tell y'all so much more just about this neighborhood. Just this neighborhood, let alone the 18 different neighborhoods I've lived in my life. Y'all have anything crazy like that where they just let their kids just wander the streets barefoot and diapers all out and whatever? It's crazy. I looked like the crazy one because I was on top of my stuff and was had my son in 18 layers when it was winter time in Florida. I looked crazy. All right, y'all. Bye.